episode tonight, and we're actually going to be talking about some local lakes that is close to us here in the Chattanooga, North Georgia area, and I guess you can kind of say almost central Georgia, um, but we got some business that we got to take care of first. But today's episode is brought to you by Bruiser Baits. Right now, Bruiser Baits has these Rampage that are on sale right now. Let me pull one out real quick. These things have been one of the best things that I have found to throw on mats. They swim just subsurface and comes through grass phenomenally. And throwing them on uh, a 5/0 hook and just letting it go, and been able to do very well on Chickamauga in the grass with it. But with that, Bruiser Baits does have a sale going on with the Rampage right now. And while you're at it, they have some of the sidekicks as well. If you are a chatterbait thrower, the sidekick is the one of the best trailers that I have found. Again, but make sure when you go to www.bruiserbaits.com, use the discount code DeckTalk10 and grab you a few packs. But with that being said, I'm Colin Burnett.
And I'm Pappy J. Woo, woo, woo. Here we go, fellas. We got another hero that we got to recognize. Salute to our valors. I mean, you can't say enough about all these men and women that are out here doing what they do for us to keep us safe and all that kind of stuff. Staff Sergeant Gino. That's what we're going to go with. Gino is his name. He's United States Marine Corps, 1st Battalion, 1st Marines, 1st Marine Division. He was in Afghanistan from 2012 to 2013 OEF. Matter of fact, fun fact about that is he was over there the same year I was there. Now, I don't know if he was at the same fob that I was at, but he was definitely there, probably traveling the same roads and looking at the same scenery. But hey, we want to thank you, sir, for all that you've done and your dedication to this country, for keeping us safe, allowing us to do what we do on a daily. So,
Thank you,
guys,
Gino.
hey, let's just keep marching on and continue mission, baby. We thank you. We thank all you men and women out there.
Yeah. So with that being said, also guys, remember to send the emails if you have a veteran or a soldier right now that is currently serving. Send an email to Josh Vaughn at Deck Talk Podcast, and we will reach out to you about getting the information. And then we will. We have a coin also that we have had made to send out to you or to them. But with that being said, we have got I have never met Danny, not that I know of. I've probably seen him around at the classic or whatever, any kind of events, because I know that they go to them. Um, but he's fairly local to us and has the LiveWell podcast and part of the Fishing North Georgia group. And so I reached out to Danny because we're in Chickamauga, Georgia. Not too far from where you're at, Danny, and I wanted to have you come on. And brother, I appreciate you coming on, and let's talk some fishing, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys having me. And I see in the comment section, I'll probably bring in some of my viewers. You got to watch them in the comment section. They can
Right.
get pretty rough sometimes. Coleman and Steven up there. But I want to tell you something this.
Yeah.
Listen, the way you started that out with the veterans and all that, first of all, Pappy, thank you for your service. And then, that's a really cool way to start a show out, thanking a veteran and everything like that, because you're right. Without them, we don't get to do this. We don't get to sit here and pontificate about a fish or do the things we get to do. So I think that was a class act.
Yeah. Well, there were circumstances that had happened, and which we can talk about later if you want to. But Pappy felt it in his heart that he wanted, and we were in the truck, and he said, "Man, I feel like I need to do something, and at least to where we can show the veterans and stuff that hey, we do love them, we care about them, and we appreciate what they've done." And and he was the guy that came up with it. And I told him, I said, well, we can figure something out, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And I mean, it's been accepted very well. So
Yeah. I think it's a class act. Absolutely.
Well, just to kind of add to that story, I mean, it ain't nothing to hide or nothing like that. What really triggered it, is the suicide prevention at all these veterans. The number, the ratio is just
Mm-hmm.
it's astounding, But one hit home to me. My gunner, he was he was my guy, and I got some information that he lived up in Kentucky. He was a husband, a father, a son, and he had taken his life, and you just never know what soldiers go through mentally on a daily. When times gets tough, they seem to be, it's just a hard. And then that's what really hit it. That's what really drove it home right there for me. Which I've always wanted to do stuff, just because being a veteran and helping veterans and recognizing veterans. But that right there really drove the nail in the coffin for me, so to speak. I mean, that was too close to home.
Yeah.
So that's what got
totally
it right there.
I get it. And we talk about that on our show from time to time too. Policemen, nurses, firemen, military, they're out there on the front lines every single day, and they have to bring it home. And it's really hard for some sometimes to not bring it home with them. And you don't know what's going through. So we always encourage on our show, even with just a friend, always reach out, because especially with us guys, we have a hard time letting our emotions out, telling other guys, hey, I'm going through a tough time right now. And so, I always encourage my viewers, hey, listen, first of all, the most important thing you can do is listen. Don't talk, just hush and listen. And sometimes you'll be able to, just that listening and that conversation might be what changes someone's, perspective like that. So still a very cool thing you do. And absolutely, that is something we all need to pay more attention to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree totally.
Yep.
But I'm
so
I'm very grateful.
Yeah. With that, how did you get into fishing? Well, how'd you get it into like being in the outdoors and stuff like that? Was that something that you just grew up with, or did you kind of get into it at an older age and stuff like that? How did you get into fishing and hunting and everything outdoors?
Yeah, so my family's always fished. I was fortunate to grow up in Forsyth County, Georgia. I had a 2-acre pond in my backyard. Latchkey kid from the 80s. We went to school, parents worked, so you came home, got off the school bus. As long as your chores were done, you could do whatever you want to do. I was always on the pond fishing. Now, back then, of course, live bait, minnows, crickets, those kind of things. We didn't have all the fancy equipment. Grew up throwing a Zebco 33. Still love a Zebco 33, a pencil float, a tube of crickets. I can have as much fun as anybody in the world.
Yeah.
That right there. But I always fished, had family that fished, and we bass fished. Now, I had a father-in-law that he was my fishing and my hunting partner. And so I was either on the water or the woods. And right up in the time until he passed away, that was all we did. When he passed away suddenly, I kind of took about 5 or 6 years off. It just didn't feel the same, because he was my buddy. And started going to church with a fella, and we got to talking about electric only fishing, and wanted to get back into some of the tournaments. That's kind of how our podcast started, very selfishly, because a lot of these electric only reservoirs around North Georgia, there were no YouTube videos on there. Mm-hmm. Nobody was giving out information. So we said, hey, let's do this. We'll start a podcast, and we'll bring the guys that know about it onto the show, and we will learn about these lakes to help us fish. And that's kind of what Fish North Georgia is, what the LiveWell podcast is. It's just giving out information to the average everyday guy. We try to get the pros and the experts on. And of course, in our comment section, the guys are always asking questions, and we just try to relate those two, because I'm like everybody else. I'm an average guy that's just dangerous enough to be able to go catch a fish, to be able to shoot a deer, but I'm not the expert. So I like to learn as my viewers are learning. We get the right guys on, and that's just the way it is. I've always been around it. Now, I didn't get to hunt until my 20s. My dad was not a big hunter. I was always able to fish, but my father-in-law got me into hunting, and it's just a way of life. I absolutely love it, and I don't want to ever change. I think some of the best times a man can have sometimes is alone by himself in the woods, and some of the best times you can have is on a boat with with a friend. Just that to me is the best therapy in life is the woods and the water.
Oh
You
yeah, and
got
that
that
we
right.
tell people that all the time is when the best therapy, is that water therapy does wonders, and in which talking, I don't do any kind of hunting or anything like that. I've kind of gotten into it more, I guess this year. I've got a little bit of land, and Pappy's came and set things up for where he can do some hunting on the land, and so I've kind of this year I've gotten into it from that aspect of it, and I've really enjoyed being able to see. I didn't realize that we had as many deer coming through there as what we did, and or what we do, and so it's just been, and that's one thing, like with we've been around and talking to other people, and he's like, man, he'll tell them, just get outside, if you can do something to where you have that fresh breath hit, or that fresh air hitting you in the face, and just sit there and just listen, and it's amazing to kind of, you know we we take it for granted, we go out, and I mean, we're fortunate enough to live on Chickamauga and Nickajack, a stone throw away, and Gunnersville's only 45 minutes away from us,
Ooh.
and so we've got two big bass factories that's right here in our back door. With, I mean, actually, the Bass Pro Tour kind of showed this past spring that what Nickajack can do, and we used to call it our hidden gem until they came and showed everybody in the world what they can do on it. But we take it for granted, and that's one thing that I've really appreciated with Pappy, and then even like with your podcast, I enjoy it, listening to it, and just the conversation, and just you even tell people, man, just get out. If you're having one of them days, I've heard you multiple times. If you're having one of them bad days, just get out. Go, even if you just go sit by the bank. I think that's one thing that you even said. Just get out there.
Yeah.
And so,
And the best thing is I'm over 30 years being married, and now I've got to the point in my marriage where my wife is like, if I'm home on a Saturday, she's like, don't you have something to do? And I'm like, yes, and I got permission. I'm going out,
yeah,
going hunting, going fishing. I wished I got to fish more, but I'm always talking about fishing with the guys and everything with the podcast, because we do, like today, I'll do 5 hours. So
right.
I just, sometimes I have to live through everybody else, but it's still pretty cool to get to hear the stories, and like all the guys over there in the comment section. I see them on a daily basis and all that. What's really cool is watching the growth of some of your viewers, like the ones
Oh
we
yeah,
have, that they first get on your show and they start asking questions. And sometimes they're too scared to ask a question, but finally they'll break
oh
through,
yeah,
they'll ask that question, and then it's every single episode. I say we have like a cult following. And
right.
I love watching the guys succeed, watching them fish tournaments. Now they're coming on. They're able to give their own kind of fishing report. Hey, this is what was happening on our lakes, which is
Right.
really good for me because I can't get on the water every day. But then when I get to talk to other people, I sound really, really smart. But I'm only as smart as my viewers. So it's a
Right.
great thing. But you're right. You got to get outside. You got
Yeah.
to get outside. You got to enjoy what God created. And absolutely just, I think it's there for a purpose, and we can get so caught up in our daily lives and our work, whatever it is, and we can make those idols. You need to step away from them a little bit and just get outside, get
Exactly.
on the water, and absolutely just freaking relax. And
Yeah.
that's the best thing.
Something it's cool that you say that. Something that is kind of triggered something. There's nothing like being on the lake first thing in the morning as the sun's coming up and you're seeing the steam rise up off the water, or you're in the tree stand. You get in the tree and an hour and a half before sun up, and literally watching the woods just come alive, just waking up.
Yeah.
To me, that is the most peaceful thing that ever was.
Right.
And I can sit there and watch the woods wake up, or just watch the steam rise up off the water and the sun coming up, and I'm just thinking, man, where else would I want to be?
Yeah.
Where else? You can't get that same kind of peace. You can't buy it. you can't bottle. I wish you could bottle it up, because if you could, boy, I'd be a rich man on that aspect of it.
That's
But it's just something about it. It's just
Yeah.
so peaceful.
Yeah, I feel the same way you do, except when it gets really, really cold. Like, last couple of fishing tournaments, I'm like, sun's coming up. We're getting ready to blast off. This is beautiful. And I'm getting ready to have 60-mile-an-hour winds out there, freezing my ass off as we're going down the water. Or the last
Yeah,
time I went hunting, I'm sitting there. I get in there an hour before, and you're right, listening to wake up. But then, my toes are getting cold. And I'm sitting there like, damn, I wish I had a cup of coffee or something like that. But you're right. You're absolutely right. And in today's world, it's so fast. And as you get older,
yeah.
it gets faster and faster. And so it's just those moments, those little moments that you can just sit there, little moments of clarity is what I call them.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by, again, a 60-mile-an-hour boat ride, or that damn squirrel coming over the hill that you think is a buck or something like that. I get
Yeah,
it. But you're right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, well, speaking of tournaments and cold, y'all just had one. What is it for the Toys for Tots, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Can you talk about it for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, Big Shanty Bass Masters, they're a club. They're a Bass Nation club that's over on Lake Allatoona. They've been doing this for several years. They approached me and they said, "Hey, we want to do one on Lanier." And I thought it was a great idea. Of course, the whole goal is to make some kids smile for Christmas, right? That's it. Get the toys, get them in front of the kids, and we get to do that through fishing. And I think it's a great community builder. We did it last year. We had a great response last year. We did it again this year. Was able to get our sponsors to give away $5,000 guaranteed first place prize. It's great to see the businesses get involved, because that attracts not only your average everyday guy like me, but we had some elite. In the field the other day, you had a couple of Bassmaster elites in Emil Wagner, Paul Marks Jr. You had a lot of the local young guns on Lake Lanier that are going to be there here in the next year or two. And then you got the weekend warriors, guys like myself, just getting out there and have fun. And the cool thing about it is, not only are we helping the kids, helping Big Shanty raise these toys and all that, but it's a community building project. I get to sit out there. I'm able to shake hands with guys, viewers that listen to us, put a face to a screen name, be able to just talk. And I tell everybody, the only superpower I got in this world is I don't shut up. And so it really does me good. So at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm just shaking hands and all that. Then we go fish. We had a great time. A lot of guys caught some great fish. I think the top 10 places all had over 20 pounds on Lake Lanier, and that's mostly spotted bass.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely amazing. You come in, you see what these guys are weighing in, and then we do a raffle to raise more money. It's a great thing that we hope on the first Saturday of every December from here on out, as long as I'm involved with Fish North Georgia and as long as Big Shanty wants to do it, we're going to continue to do that. I think it's important, like I said, not only for the kids, but it's important for our viewers, for our fishing community, because at the end of the day, I think the outdoor world, as far as the hunters, the fishermen, and even the crazy people that like to go hiking, jogging, the kayakers, all of them, they're some of the most giving people in the world. They will step up for a good cause, and they never, ever seem to fail in the North Georgia area. Always. I know a couple years ago, we had a school that has a closet, and what they do is they collect shoes, tennis shoes for, kids that don't have them. They have counselors that watch the kids as they come into school every day, and they're looking at their shoes, and they can tell. And so they reached out to us. Actually, they reached out to my church wanting to see if we could donate some shoes. Well, I threw it right out there on the Fish North Georgia group page, and boom, like within a week, we had 80 to 90 different pairs of shoes that we could give to this school to put in there, just for kids they'll never meet, they don't know, but there's always a need. They always step up. And, the Toys for Tots tournament, that's just another example of, I like to say, the class of people I like to hang around. And so, it was a great tournament, great turnout, a lot of toys.
And that's what it's all about, I mean, because we've done a charity. We usually try to do one a year that we'll put on, either a tournament, or we'll do something to where we'll just be at a local bait shop and stuff, and we'll have a big raffle and stuff of things, and then have it to where we've done a charity thing for 50 legs, which they make prosthetic legs. And so we were able to get 3 sets of legs made for people, and it just blew my mind of that we actually got that much money off of, just guys just coming out and it's crazy when we done it. It was, I think it was like 27 degrees outside that day, and the owner of 50 Legs is from Tampa, and he came down. He used to wrestle in the WWF, and so he came up and he was wearing shorts, and then we had it done at Michael Neal's old place there in Dayton, and he went. I guarantee you, Danny, he bought every kind of warm weather thing that would fit him in that the bait shop there. He said, "I don't see how y'all are." Yeah, he's like, "Y'all are crazy to come out here and do it." But I mean, and then we've done it for like the autism angler and stuff like that. But it's just amazing to see, people just think that they see a guy pulling a boat, he's just going fishing. But I guarantee the person that's driving that truck has one of the biggest hearts that's out there.
100%. Did you say that guy was from Tampa?
Yeah.
So he was up here freezing his ass off?
Oh yeah.
That's the way I feel every time I go to Florida. Like, that is the hottest place in the world. So every time we go to Orlando or anything like that, I'm like, I don't know how those people live in that humidity. I thought Georgia humidity was bad, but it's awful.
Then you're dodging them pterodactyl mosquitoes.
Hell yeah, that and the armadillos and gators and whatever else is there to eat you. Streetwalkers, it don't matter. It's all in Florida.
I'm going to answer this question from Coleman Jones. He says, I'll be close to the chick on his honeymoon the first week of January. Should I bring my boat and fish, or is it a waste of time? Would it be the first time there? I wouldn't think it'd be a waste of time, Coleman. You would definitely would want to obviously slow things down, and maybe target some deep structure or some, and when I say deep, 15 plus,
but in the going back into the sloughs, the channels in the sloughs where they're going to be.
The mouth, and you could even probably fish around the mouth. But the biggest thing is making sure they got their pulling current. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I wouldn't say it'd be a waste of time. Now, it'd probably be cold. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what the weather's going to be like on that first week in January, but you can still catch them. You can. We got a buddy that, he lives out there 365 days out of a year, and he catches big ones all the time.
Yeah, he's put over just this year. He's put over 38 double digits in his just on Chickamauga.
Yeah. Can I answer that question? Can I answer that question to Coleman? You guys don't know what his fiance looks like. Coleman, hell yeah, it'd be a waste of time. You're gonna be on your honeymoon with that. You outpunted your coverage. There ain't a bit of
that's the reason why I was like
being on the water. He's got no business being on the water. If I was his age, no, they'll be fishing. You can wait a week or two.
Yeah,
there you go. Well, there's your answer, Coleman.
I'm actually going to his wedding. So
okay.
Yeah, I'll be.
And that's from a guy that's been married for 30 years. So
yeah.
You might want to heat down.
Yeah, and she's the boss in that relationship too. So what he didn't say
he's not.
Yeah,
he goes to hook up that boat. She's going to be cracking some skulls.
100%. He's got to ask permission, and we all know that. We all know that down there in North Georgia. He likes to get on this Tennessee podcast and ask you guys that question, but we know exactly what's going to happen. I'm looking forward. They're going to have me. It's a cowboy. The theme of their wedding is cowboy. I think she said cowboy or Western cheek or whatever. Hell, I got to go buy me a cowboy hat and boots. I don't even own a cowboy hat and boots, and I got to dress up like a cowboy and go and watch him do that. So if I got to dress up like a cowboy, he can wait a week or two to go fishing.
There you go.
I'll take him back up the chick later.
Yeah,
you just come on up here. We'll take you out. We'll take you out when the time's right.
That's when the time is right. When the time is right.
Yeah, because not too long after that, that's when the big ones are really starting to get caught.
Yeah.
Really starting the end of January is when you'll start seeing more of them being caught. So, so I
fished a tournament on Chickamauga a couple years ago, And I had a lot of the guys around here, I was asking them, just like I do everything else, what do I need to throw? And every one of them to a person said, morning dawn plastic worm. And I thought, okay, largemouth, that kind of lake. They were not lying. We ended up taking, we didn't have a big bag, but we took fourth in that tournament. And every fish we caught was either on a drop shot morning dawn, or it was on a morning dawn stuck on a Ned head, and we would get against the ledges. I call them ledges,
Yeah.
just those sheer bluff walls. And it was
Mhm.
almost like we were trout fishing. We would chunk
Mhm.
that thing up against that wall and just let the current kind of drift it on down till we felt that doo-doo, and we set the hook.
Mhm.
But I was really surprised. I thought everybody was setting me up for failure because, it's supposed to be the frog bite up there. This was in the fall of the year, the
Yeah.
frog bite, all these kind of things. No, man, that morning dawn worm,
It was,
Chickamauga, I'm telling you, that was the ticket.
well, we usually go anything that has purple in it. As long as it has purple, you're fine.
Yeah, and that might
So,
have been it. But I didn't believe them when they told me that. I thought they were setting me up for failure. But no, that was it. That was it. And that's
yeah,
a tough lake to fish. Like us guys in North Georgia coming up the Chick and all that, it being kind of like a river system. I mean, that's totally
yeah.
different than you guys coming down here to our Highland reservoirs.
Well, I
And
Mhm.
mean,
yeah,
we were always before we got started. I told you, I said them the Highland reservoirs, anything deep and especially deep and clear has my number. I mean,
yeah.
I've only had one trip on Lanier that I actually done decent, and but I mean, you put me out on the river, and I mean, I can always find fish on the river, and but I mean, that's what I grew up, and so, um, but a lot of people that I see that's they come from out of town, and which majority of the people that we'll see like at the boat ramps are from Indiana, Ohio area, and but they're fishing the river systems all wrong, and that and I my dad, he'll talk to a brick wall as long as he thinks that it's going to respond, and so he'll talk to him, and like we'll see him at the boat ramp or something after we've seen him fishing, and he'll start talking, and then he brings me over and just starts chit chatting, and I tell him like with river fishing, I mean you got to find the little jetties and stuff where it kind of eddies it back in, or as long as you got like riprap and stuff like that, and you have that current coming through, you want to be able to throw that because they were fishing from like coming upstream, and they wasn't letting the drift kind of take them.
Mhm.
And I was like, fish are like, especially bass are lazy to an extent because they want with that current, it's bringing the food to them. They'll just sit right there on the bottom and just wait for stuff to come right by them. And so, and how like we fish like the river systems, if we're like coming down like a rock riprap or a bluff, we'll throw it out and we will, let's just say we're throwing a little 3/16 jig, and you want to be able to have a bow in that line because if it's just a tight line coming through, that jig head is turning wherever how you are, it's turning. So if you have slack in it, it's coming down the river just natural, and so then you're going to get more hits with it with that little slack, and all you'll see is that line just go doom, and
Mhm. Yeah,
so
I tell you another thing we caught them on because everybody knows me. I love throwing a weightless wacky worm. And
oh yeah.
I was doing the exact same thing. And we went up there a couple days earlier to pre-practice, pre-fish. The day of the tournament, it didn't work, but we caught a couple fives, just throwing
Mhm.
them up against them rocks and just letting the current
Oh
just kind
yeah.
of drift it down. I don't know how many, I know the guys, they think I'm crazy with the weightless because on Lanier, I'm throwing it over a 40-foot brush pile. I don't care. I throw weightless all the time. But up there at Chick, at least in pre-fishing, they were hammering it, just
Yeah.
letting it fall down. And that was the one thing. You're right. We don't know anything about fishing. So when we saw, or fishing rivers, when we saw those big bluff walls, that kind of was, at least to us, okay, that's some kind of structure.
Right.
And that's, we just targeted it because it was kind of like comfortable. On
Yeah.
Lanier, we'll throw something against a steep bank and we'll let it just kind of drift down, whether it's a jig or whatever, if we're bank beaters. and letting it fall, and you hit that one little ledge, that one big fall, and that's when you pick up a pretty good spot, sometimes a largemouth. And so that's what we were doing, and it worked great pre-fishing. But then in the tournament, some cold weather came in again, and it was in the fall, so we had a front come in, got kind of cold, kind of windy, and then we had to switch over to that morning dawn worm. My partner threw a spinner bait. He's a spinner bait guy. He got some strikes. There was a lot of grass in the coves. We're not used to that. You mentioned Gunnersville earlier. That's close to you guys. Like, I went to Gunnersville for the first time in my life last year, and that grass is overwhelming to a guy that doesn't fish that a lot, and rivers are overwhelming to a guy that doesn't fish it a lot. So, in 3
And I think
days,
that's the reason why, like, I see a lot of them, people that are from out of town. And I wouldn't really consider y'all being out of town. I mean, because it's just right down. For us, we drive a truck, so I mean, anything that's within a couple of hours, it's pretty close to us, is what we think. But is I think they want, like, when you're fishing a lake or in the back of a slough, you're able to kind of keep the boat generally in that one little area, and so that's what they want to do, to be able to fish, and instead allow the boat to kind of just drift along right with it, and you can control how fast you're going with the drift with your trolling motor and stuff like that. So I mean, but it's something that is an acquired thing to learn, I mean, and it's just like going and like how fishing Lanier and stuff like that. I mean, it's something that I wish that I had more time to be able to go down there and actually learn more about it. Either there, like Dale Hollow or something like that, or Center Hill, and but we spend too much time on Chickamauga and Nickajack. So
I tell you on them. You was talking about that front moving in and it picking up, the wind picking up.
mm-hmm.
Some of my best fishing has come off weather like that on Chick. And when the weather's kind of nasty, or if a front comes in and there's wind on the backside of that front, or a lot of wind, I target a lot of on points that's on the main channel.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, well, depending on how the wind's blowing. Now, if it's blowing north up river, then I'll target a lot of the north wind points on Chick, just because I've won a couple tournaments doing that and throwing, believe it or not, just a little old broke back crankbait, and just absolutely wore them out early spring, kind of fall, late fall, or not late fall, but early fall. So just kind of keep that in mind if you ever up this way and you get some bad weather. Just kind of them rocky points at that. They'll kind of generate up in there.
I tell you what else you guys got. Y'all got them drum up there.
Oh yeah.
And listen, don't eat those things.
Oh, I don't eat fish anyways, but I definitely don't eat them.
Listen, well, we were filming a episode of my TV show, The Real American Road Trip, and we were close to the dam. We were throwing white Kitex, got into some smallmouth and all that, but caught a drum. And the guy from Chattanooga that was my guest on that show, he wanted to cook it. And I'm just going to tell you, that was the worst thing. One of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth is a Lake Chickamauga drum. Caught, and he caught it, and then he did gut it, but he stuck it in his refrigerator overnight. We came back to film the episode the next day, and they put it in some grease, and he tried to make a sandwich out of it. And I'm just telling you, that was the nastiest, chewiest. It was like chewing an umbilical cord. It was just crunchy, and I was like, do not, public service, do not eat any drum. We didn't know no better. So we tried it. But I tell you what, I do enjoy the lake going through. I mean, it's very scenic. And I thought it was a great lake. We don't get the time, you're right, up there that we should. I know a lot of the guys go up there a lot. I wish I was able to go up there a lot more. But I totally felt it felt foreign to me while I was up there. Probably like some of you guys coming down to Lanier. It's foreign. The thing about Lanier that I think sometimes people overthink Lanier, because we always talk about the offshore bite and the timber bite and your forward facing sonar and all that stuff. But listen, if you're a bank beater on Lanier, you like throwing a shaky head or a crankbait or whatever, you can still slay fish. I just think people get in their mind that they've got to get out there, like a lot of the guys that fought, and they're shaking that minnow and they're just noodling it out there and all that. And yes, you can catch it, but you can just, if you don't have that much knowledge, and probably same thing on chick, you could have just beat the bank, done the simple stuff, and you'll catch fish.
Yeah, if you can go, and I believe you can pretty much go anywhere and beat the bank with a Texas rig Cinco, and you can go and just have a field day out there.
Yeah. So you can tell the difference between a largemouth guy right there and a spotted bass guy right here, because you went Texas rig and I went shaky head.
Yeah.
And it's funny because not a lot of guys throw a Texas rig on Lake Lanier or Allatoona. They're throwing more the shaky head. And I think the spotted bass has created that.
Right.
You know, I don't know how many, do you guys throw shaky heads a lot up there? Or is that just
Nick and Jack will throw more for Nick.
There's shaky heads that's thrown, but you are right. There's more Texas rig than anything. Now, we do catch a lot of spot off of Texas rig though, because we have a lot of spot in chick. So I kind of think they're kind of used to that. Is the reason why. We do catch small and smallies and largemouth off shaky heads.
Yeah,
probably not as much as spots, but we do catch them.
I know the biggest fish that I've seen caught over the last couple years came out of Lake Allatoona was a largemouth, was over 12 pounds, and it actually was caught on a shaky head. So yeah, you're right. Largemouth will hit them, but it just seems like that's what
I'll tell you this, Danny. My biggest fish ever was 1134 that I caught here, about a month and a half, 2 months ago on a shaky head with a bruiser big stick.
Oh, really? I meant to ask you, do you know Robert Blesky?
Yes.
NPFL. Well, he's not going to fish the NPFL this year. He's going to go to the Opens, but he's sponsored by Bruiser Baits.
Yeah, he's a teammate of ours. Yeah.
Is he? Yeah, so, he's all right. For a Florida guy, he's okay.
Yeah, well, he tried to improve it when he moved up to Knoxville. So
he did. He did. He's doing some guiding up there and all that. He loves it. He actually moved from Florida to North Georgia to learn how to fish the Highland stuff. And then when he thought he got that, down, he moved up, to Tennessee to get the rivers and all that. You guys got more fishing opportunity in Tennessee, I think, than anywhere else, probably in the nation. Honestly, y'all got more water, more lakes, more rivers, and all that. You can go up in Tennessee and fish for muskie.
Even on chick, you can catch muskies, walleye, and sauger and stuff, even on chick. And so, it's been a minute since I've done some walleye fishing for them, but there's certain times of the year to where you can go catch some good walleye.
Yeah, you can. I just think Tennessee is that state.
Yeah.
It's just that state when it comes to fishing. You guys got a little bit of everything all wrapped up right there together.
Yeah. Well, you was talking earlier about the Georgia, the electric motor lakes, in which there's a lake that's about an hour from us, and I'm trying to think off the exit that it is, but there's every time we go, you at least always catch one decent fish.
You talking about Rocky?
Do what?
You talking about Rocky Mountain?
No.
Okay, that's just a little south of you guys. So that's why I was at.
Right. Well,
I fished those lakes before.
Do what?
I fished those lakes before, those Rocky Mountain lakes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But I had went there.
I fished it at the wrong time though. I fished it like in January.
Throw an A-rig. Yeah. If you go to Rocky in the winter, throw an A-rig, or those spoons over the
really?
In West Antioch. There's some rock piles, and guys they'll throw A-rigs or they'll yo-yo spoons or rattle traps, like that, and they'll yo-yo them over the rock piles, and they will absolutely just slam big largemouth doing that.
But I had went there one day that my dad and I were out, and I was just doing some filming for my YouTube channel. And I had my biggest three fish bag was over 22 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I had lost one. The I had lost one at the boat, and my dad's probably going to comment on here in a minute and say something, or he'll give me a phone call say I had to tell him. But I was throwing a Demiki vault, and everything that I had caught that day was off a blade bait, and I had hooked one up, and it was at that time I had never caught a double digit bass, and I was like, "This is a double digit bass," and but my dad went. And I was he's like, he was wanting to go on and get it in the boat, and I said no, because I knew that just how it was acting, that it was going to make another little dive, and as soon as it made that dive, and it went right up in between us, up underneath the boat, and my dad went with it, with the net to try to get it, and all you heard off the net was that ting with off the blade bait, and the blade bait comes flying up over, and I don't know if he's still over that or not, but
That's called heartache. That
yeah,
is heartache. You fished Rocky. I was there with my partner one time, and he had never caught a big bass in his life. Honestly, about 2 pounds was his personal best. He caught one, and again, Texas rig, old monster. I believe it was. I don't know if it was that cherry, whatever it is, that plum or whatever, one of them colors like that. And he caught one about 4.5 pounds, and he was just tickled shitless. That was the greatest thing he'd ever done. Not, I don't know, not 10 minutes later, he lays into one, and he's fighting it. Bless his heart. It's a big one. It gets wrapped around our electric only motor back there in the back. And I actually had to go basically unhook the fish about 2 foot down. And so I was able to unhook it. And luckily I didn't let go of it, because he would have never let me, live it down. And I pulled it up, and it was over 8 pounds. And so we got lucky that it didn't break in the prop or whatever like
oh
that.
yeah,
It happens. But I can't imagine how he would have reacted had I got that fish just out of the water and then dropped it. You know what I'm saying? So that heartache like that. Luckily, we were able to avoid it. But you're talking electric only in North Georgia. We got these lakes popping up all over the place, and
oh
I don't know
man,
about other states, but the beauty of electric only lakes is you don't have the crowd. Right? The worst things you got to deal with is the kayakers, and in the kayak anglers. That's one thing, but kind of like during COVID, I called it the orange armada. Everybody went to Walmart or to Dick's, and they bought them orange kayaks. And
oh
so you
yeah,
be out there on the water and you're fishing, and then you see them coming about 8:30, 9 o'clock when they wake up. But really, that's about all there is there. In my front yard here, I got 340-acre Latham, and it's literally a 1-minute walk from my front door to the boat ramp. It's basically a little mini Lake Lanier. It's got spots, largemouth. It's got blueback herring in it. It's deep. It's shallow. You can do anything on that. Hickory Lock, 30 minutes, same thing. Big
yeah,
largemouth lake. You got to go. Now we call it Dinkery Lock because you got to catch 152 12-inch bass. But if you can weed through those 152 12-inch bass, you're going to get a 10 plus. You'll get a double-digit bass.
oh
Well,
yeah,
that's where I come in. That's me.
yeah.
Yeah. What you do
He
is you let
winked
us
them
warm
out
the
for
water up.
us.
Yeah, we'll catch all
Yeah,
the small ones, and then you get the glory, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
but electric only fishing. Listen, I'm telling you guys, I've seen it through some of the guys. It's not going to be long for your outboards, your big boats, your glitter rockets are going to have these electric only type motors. Whether you like it or not, it's coming,
yeah.
and
Well,
it's going to happen.
Mercury. What was it? 3 years ago, Mercury had one at the Classic. They
Mhm.
had there, and it was electric only, and I was quite surprised with it when they brought it out,
Yeah,
um, and it's just gotten better in the past 3 years with talking to them at the Classic or even at ICAST and stuff like that. You are definitely right, and I believe that it's we're going to see the tournament wise, you're gonna see them drop that horsepower on the motors. I believe because there's been too many incidents that's happened within the past 3 years
yeah.
that they're going to be forced to have to do something.
Well, in the electric only world right now, we don't have blast off. We have zoom offs. All right, because there's a few. Listen, there's a few guys. There's a few guys that have they've got the really souped up electric ones that can actually get up on plane, but the majority of us are going 8 to 10 miles an hour. Now, if you're going 8 to 10 miles an hour in an electric tournament, you're one of the fast ones, right? So, the worst thing we got to do is, just bumping into each other. It is a little bit safer, but you're right. I see Steven Sturgeon. I love it when he tries to trash talk us kayakers.
Yeah,
Listen, kayak guys, they're just off centered a little bit. I like them, I love them, but they don't think like the rest of us, and he knows it.
Well, and he's from Illinois, so you can't hold too much from him. I mean,
I don't know how we got a guy from Illinois that watches us all the time, but I absolutely love it. But I was down at the Miami Boat Show last year with Digital Sportsman, and there was quite a few of those companies had electric only motors, and they're in the prototype stage. Most of them are smaller, but guys, I'm telling you, once they figure out the weight distribution on the batteries and stuff like that, it's coming. It's going to be expensive to start, but it is
just
coming.
like everything else. And I mean, with just like forward facing sonar, I mean, it's starting. You're starting to see it kind of dwindle down. I mean, but it's all been the whole thing of fishing. Side scan. Happy and I were talking about side scan. I mean, when everybody had side scan, or when it first came out, and people started having, that's cheating, and then now, I mean, can you buy a unit now without having side scan on it?
No, probably not.
Not really, not a good one.
That's kind of like we've been going traveling down the road delivering little Debbie's, and we've actually seen some boats that's already got them electric motors on it. I mean, and it's the funniest looking thing ever.
Yeah.
I had to take a double look at it. I thought, what in the world was that?
Yeah.
So
I have an Elko. Now, Elko is basically a Yamaha lower end, and it's got the cowling on it, and it looks like a gas motor. And so you'll have a guy get on the lake like Latham over here. He'll pull up. First time he's been there, he don't know who the hell you are, but of course he's got to say something. And he'll pull up to you and he'll go, this lake is electric only. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, well, you got a gas motor. And I'm said, and then you got to explain to him. Now, no, buddy, this is Elko. This is the way it looks. But now a lot of them are space age looking, e-propulsions, all that. Yeah, they're funky looking. But that's kind of why I like the Elko. At least I feel like I got a gas motor when I'm pulling up to the ramp. You know what I'm saying? It sure as hell don't run like one, but I got one. It looks like one.
But it makes you feel better, don't it? That's all that matters. It just makes you feel better.
There's a lot of them, like, because the one that I'll go to, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. We always just call it Lake X because we don't really want a lot of people going over there to it. But but they will. It's electric only, but they will allow you to, like, because I'll take my boat and but we just trolling motor the whole thing. So
that's kind of like that's like Rocky. Rocky will let you do that, and you can just go with trolling motor. But like on Latham here, you can't even have a gas tank on your boat.
Really?
So it's got to have everything off it because it's a watershed lake. And so the ones that, Cherokee County Water Authority owns it, they're in the business of water. Fishing's a privilege. So they're going to take care of that water. So as it comes out of that lake into the Etowah River, there are no contaminants in there. And so that's the big difference between, like, Rocky Mountain's a public fishing area. They'll allow you to do that. It's no wake. You can pull your trolling motor on you. I think you can use your big motor to load, but that's about it. But on these watershed lakes, they are really, really strict about just not wanting any oil, any gas, anything possible like that to be on the to possibly get in the water.
I didn't know that about Lake Lanier. What about Altoona?
No,
Altoona, they allow big motors.
Now, I'm not saying Lake Lanier allows. I'm talking about Latham.
Lake Lanier does.
Yeah, Latham Reservoir is a 340 acre watershed lake, electric only right here. Yeah,
I misunderstood.
Yeah. Lanier's 38,000 acres. You want to hear some guys fuss? Tell everybody they got to run electric only. Oh my God!
Hey, we should start that rumor right now. Just go ahead and start the rumor.
You heard it right here on the Deck Talk podcast. Yeah, Deck Talk said, "Hey, no more gas motors on Lake Lanier. We'll get Slick Johnson in here." And now
that's what I was about to say. It looks like he just popped up on there and said that just made a post saying Lake Lanier is gas or electric motor only. So
Yeah,
it's if
and
Slick
hell,
says it is a done deal.
that's right. He'll come repossess your boat.
That's
You
it.
know what? Slick's but you know what? Slick could put that out there knowing it's 100% satire, 100% a joke, and you're always going to get about 32 guys in the comment section. They're going to like, come take my boat. Come take my boat. They're like, come take my dock. And you're like, buddy, he's just kidding, but they're wound tight, man. They are wound tight.
Yeah.
So it's like, leave it alone. I mean,
well, but that's the thing about it is, and the only reason why he does it is because he'll have 1,000 comments of "take my boat" or "I wish somebody would." Yeah,
it's clickbait. That's all it is. He's just trying to get them clicks up.
That's right. It's that fancy word called engagement.
Yeah.
It's engagement. And so the algorithm picks up on that engagement. The algorithm don't care whether it's positive or negative.
No, and that's one thing.
He's getting a lot of clicks.
Yeah, we don't get much like bad or hate or anything like that. And but when we do, I always just comment, "Thanks for the help," and then they're like, "I'm not helping you. How am I helping you?" And I'm like, "Every time you comment, you're making that algorithm just help out for me." And I said, "Thank you much."
You ever get them emails after a show, people complaining about something?
Mm-hmm.
You know what the number one thing that I've gotten emails about is calling somebody a Yankee. Honest to goodness. And listen, if you live north of Dawsonville, Georgia, you're a Yankee to me. And I just tease like that. I had a buddy, Sal Pinto. He's from New Jersey. He's a great friend. He's been on the show several times. And I tell him he's my favorite Yankee, and he says I'm his favorite redneck, and we have some fun. But the last time he was on the show, I was like, well, I got my favorite Yankee on like that. And I got a strongly worded email from a gentleman in Atlanta, which ought to tell you anything you need to know because it's downtown Atlanta, that is a derogatory term and that you should not use that. And I hit him back and I'm like, sir, he's one of my best friends. We say it lovingly and all that, but you always get those people that feel like they've got to address the situations. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's kind of like when you guys call North Georgia, when you're calling North Georgia in your area, North Georgia, but we call North Georgia up here, North Georgia, and it's like, wait a minute. So who's North Georgia?
Right.
You guys are. I kind of put you guys I-75 corridor up there. Yeah, y'all are kind of North Georgia. You're kind of, but we got the hills. So as long as you got now, when you get close to Chattanooga, you got the hills too. So I don't know. You're right, but I hate to say it, but y'all are kind of like the forgotten corner of the state a little bit.
But hey, Pappy, when somebody says, "Where are you from?" where do you tell them?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
There you go.
Listen, and the reason being because who knows anything about Rossville or Fort Oglethorpe or Ringgold or anything like that.
The only time I know
Chattanooga is the staple. It's just the pinpoint.
The only time I hear those names of those towns is when your high school football team's doing well, or you see it on the road sign when you're driving up 75.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't know who in the hell designed the interstates around Chattanooga, but they need to fix that because Chattanooga's got the worst traffic of any small to mid-sized town in the Southeast. It is awful. That 24 going around the river.
Yeah, it's. We have to hit it
that all day long. I hate how they designed all this.
Yeah, we can tell you that honestly, the best time to go through there was at 3:30 this morning when we came through there. We was able just to go right on through.
Well, don't do it at 6 p.m. in the evening. I can tell you that. If you try to get back to Georgia, you'll get there the day after.
Yeah.
Hey, going through Chattanooga at 6 p.m. is like going through Atlanta now.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
People's asked me when is the best time to beat Atlanta traffic they're like, we're coming through on Friday. When's the best time to go through? I said on Wednesday. So.
100%. There'll be a traffic jam. Atlanta's going to have a traffic jam on 75 at 4:00 in the morning every morning. It doesn't matter. It don't matter.
No.
Yeah.
And their road construction is getting just as bad.
Oh my Lord. I don't know if you listen. I don't know if you guys read that comment. I'll let you read that comment. It's your chance.
I'll let Colin do that one.
Listen, I did not have that comment on my bingo card today.
What
Sorry,
what kind
guys.
of people are you bringing here, Danny?
Huh? I'll
You
read it.
said your people are rowdy, so.
Hey, Colin, that's some of that North Georgia stuff there.
That is.
I think you said you were from North Georgia, right? Y'all were the true North Georgia.
But
now he's saying Chattanooga.
You know, Tarot Destroyer. Hey, listen, great comment. Don't know nothing about it. Go ahead and marry him.
Yeah.
Hey.
Me.
That's a pretty good one, though.
Yeah.
That'll kind of leave you speechless a little bit after that comment right there.
Yeah.
Put everybody up for a minute.
I'm trying to figure it. It's not popping up to where I could delete it. So, guys, just ignore it.
Listen, that's what we've learned to do. You see those in the comment section, and I've learned over the years, and I'm still terrible at it. Guys will try to change their name to where if you read it out, it's something bad. Listen, I do it all the time because I'm flying through the comments, and I'm like, and all the guys are going like, no, and I'm like, and oh my God, they know that. So, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So,
man, that kind of sidetracked all of us. But if you could fish one lake in the United States, where would you want to go fish?
One lake in the United States. It'd either be up north for smallmouth, or I'd like to go out to what's that lake out in California with a big spotted bass? I can't remember the name.
The Delta or Clear Lake?
It might be Clear Lake. One of those. We talk about it all the time. I know Jason Johnson. He fished the FLW. He's from Dawsonville. He went out there with Cody Myers, whichever lake this is, and their best 5 spots for the day was over 40 pounds.
Good grief.
They're out there and they're feeding on those Kyoki salmon or whatever they are. I can't pronounce anything, but it's kind of like some of our lakes here that they put trout in. So, I think that I know a lot of guys will pick a Texas lake or something like that. There's just something about a spotted bass that if you get them to that size, they're just they'll destroy you.
Have you ever caught any peacocks?
No, but I do brand ambassadorship with Digital Sportsman, and we're supposed to be going to South America to fish for peacocks. So I mean, you got the Florida peacocks down there, and they're colorful, they're nice, but it's a different world when you get down there.
I've gone down to, like every year after I cast, we'll go down to Lake Placid, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll take one day and we'll go down to the Everglades and we will just go peacock fishing. And I was telling my cousin about it, and he's like, man, that's a bucket list fish I want to catch.
Yeah.
And he goes out last year to Brazil and goes and catches these. And he's like, you call your peacocks a fish. And he's pulling out like these 20-pound peacocks. And I'm like, there is no way that, I mean, and because the biggest one that I had caught was like 6.5 pounds, but we were throwing like those the whopper ploppers, like the 80s, the small whopper ploppers, and just burning it back. And when they hit that top water, Danny, it literally sounds like somebody's throwing cinder blocks into the water. They're hitting it so hard, and but it is probably freshwater fishing and stuff like that is probably my favorite freshwater fish to go after.
I can understand that. Everybody that knows me knows I hate a whopper plopper. I just can't stand that bait. See, that's why, look, John G. Plopper, look at Danny smiling. Like you said, whopper plopper, and I just like, oh, man. But for peacock bass, it is the bait. It is to get that top water strike. And then you watch them down in South America, and you're right. They may be cinder blocks here, but they're like boulders in South America.
It is. I guarantee it.
It's almost like them crazy guys over in Europe that throw that whopper plopper for them big old catfish that come up out of nowhere and they're in their kayaks. They're doing the figure 8 and all that. I'm looking forward to that trip. I hope we make it this year. But I'll be back down at ICAST, and for some reason at ICAST, I never take a rod. I don't know why, but everybody always goes and catches fish down there. I think I need to do that this coming up year,
Oh yeah.
just to try to catch
Well,
some.
you can go and fish those ponds that's behind the convention center. There's
Really?
big bass in there. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, you know how it is at ICAST. About 4 or 5 o'clock, they bring out the free liquid strength and all that.
Yeah.
So generally, they got that in after parties. I never make it to the lake. So,
Right.
see, look at Danny, your favorite bait all day long, my friend. Plop, 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 plop. There's
Yeah.
Well, Danny, before we get off here or anything, I kind of want to switch gears for a second. Let's talk about a little bit of hunting. So up there or down there in North Georgia, you guys, what kind of terrain are you hunting down there?
So I have a lease. Now, of course, you got your mountains and all that. I don't hunt in the mountains that much. So I have a lease on the other side of Athens, Georgia, over past the University of Georgia. And that's basically very flat farmland, cattle stuff, paper company land. And then luckily this year I was able to do some suburban bow hunting in Milton.
Oh yeah.
I had one of my sponsors. They had, and it's only 9 acres, but it's right in the middle of 150 something acres between some subdivisions. If you want some monster deer in Georgia, yeah, you can go down south to the peanut fields and all that stuff. But suburban deer hunting with bows, that's kind of where, if you're looking for a trophy, and I'm not really a horn hunter, I like to eat the things too much, but got lucky. I got a 10-pointer this year, pretty decent 10 out of Milton. And I had a pretty cool story with that. My father-in-law, I talked to you about that earlier. He was my hunting fishing buddy, and he passed away. He was one of those guys, and he cheated the system. He was able to crossbow hunt well before crossbows were allowed for everybody, because he had a sawmill accident and he sawed off his pinky, the ring finger, and a little tip of this other one. So he was able to get a permit for a crossbow. Yeah. So when he passed away, I got his crossbow, and he's been gone 16, 17 years now. And so I took that thing out this year. I'm surprised I didn't bust the limbs when I pulled it back and cocked it, but I was able to get a 10-pointer with that bow. And the cool part of the story is the last 2 deer that he killed before he passed away was on my lease on the other side of Athens. Both of them were 10-pointers. So I thought it was just kind of fitting that I got a 10-pointer with his crossbow. The last 2 deer he shot in his life, which I have. I kind of don't know if you guys can see them. I have hats on them right there. I shouldn't have the hats on them, but I don't have a hat rack in this room. But I got his deer, the last 2 deer in my thing. So I thought that was pretty special. But for the most part, if you're hunting Dawsonville up, you're in foothills. You're hunting big oak, hardwood, and of course down in creek bottoms and stuff like that. So we got a little bit of everything. Just depends on what you like to hunt.
But I didn't know that they done anything else in Dawsonville besides race cars and moonshine.
Well, we got our moonshine. I can put you on some of that if you need some of that too.
Yeah, we got that's about what we got up here. Is we got a lot of foothills, a lot of hardwoods, creek bottoms, stuff like that. But my biggest buck come off South Georgia. I got drawn for a hunt down there around Columbus.
Right.
We was hunting. Well, I say Columbus. Well, over there near Fort Benning and all that. My biggest buck, and it's kind of weird because hunting down there in those pines and stuff like that is way different from hunting up here, because I was looking for the same structure and same draws and fingers and stuff like that down there.
Right.
And it just ain't there. I mean, there's some there, don't get me wrong, and actually where I killed mine is kind of on a finger, but I was hunting a bunch of pines, which I'm not used to.
Right.
It's different, but I love hunting down there, man. I love it. Absolutely love it.
It is cool. Now, Steve Sturgeon said, shooting a suburban deer and having to track it into some kid's backyard. Luckily, Steven, the way the land I hunt sets up is like, I would have to make a terrible shot for them to get even close to one of the subdivisions. But there are guys, you're right, that hunt very small tracts of like 10 acres between subdivisions. And I do think that is a risk. Now I got lucky. I have a viewer of our show, Doug Rice, who has a place in Kentucky. So I got to hunt in Kentucky about a month and a half ago for the first time in my life at Cadiz, I think, just right outside of
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee. As
It
soon as you
has.
cross,
It has. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that
KD's,
how do
yeah.
you say it again?
KD's.
KD's, whatever like that.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something. Now they trophy hunted. And I seen the pictures of the trophies, and I didn't see anything that I could shoot that weekend. I'm not that guy. If somebody's gonna let me go hunt their land, he's gonna be a giant before I pull him off. But that was some of the best looking. It was a cut soybean farm. They had just cut the soybeans, so them fields. It was picturesque, or however you want to say it. My lord, the deer there were huge
Yeah.
compared to Georgia. I mean, the does in Kentucky, and I've hunted Illinois a couple times. My goodness, the does are bigger than the bucks down here as far as body size and all that.
Yeah.
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 So
Well, we've seen some pretty big ones sleeping on the side of the road when we're driving through.
oh, good. It's that time of year. I tell my kids every year, late October, November, December around here, would you please at night slow down?
Yes.
Because they're
Yeah.
going to, and this road that I live on, it's got a lot of paper company land. And, my daughter, I don't know, I stressed it, just please slow down. And what the hell does she do? She, boom, hits a deer. It never fails. One of my
Yeah.
kids are going to hit it or something like that. But yeah, you got to be careful. I think people don't understand. And of course, I know they don't understand what the rut's all about and the chasing and all that that's going on. They're just flying up and down the road, having a good old time, listening to the radio, singing, some Taylor Swift, just boo 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 boo,
Mhm.
and there it is. And then they're
Yeah.
like, and then they're all fussing about, well, we're putting subdivisions up where they live, and yes, we are, but a little bit of paying attention and knowing the time of year and what's going on will serve a lot of you guys well when it
Yeah.
comes hunting season. But it is what it is. I bet you guys, if y'all are driving early in the mornings like that, there's no telling how many deer you guys see.
Look,
We see.
I preach that all the time every year.
Mhm.
Especially when it gets closer to the rut, pre-rut, post-rut. You just never know. All it takes is one doe to be right, and her running and flaunting and everything, and it just drives them bucks crazy, and they're going to do stupid stuff.
Well,
I mean, they'll jump off a cliff.
it's a teenage boy, right? I mean, you guys,
Exactly.
I know it's been a
Exactly.
long time since we were 18,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
were anything like me, you know how you were thinking at 18. And
Yeah.
we did stupid things, right? That
Yeah.
is the rut. That is the deer rut right there.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely agree. Hey, let me say this one too. Won't turn you on anytime you come up here. Come up here probably around what? Calling probably July, August, right when it really starts getting hot. We'll take you night fishing. I
Oh yeah.
guarantee you'll like it.
Hey, don't tempt me with a good time, buddy. I'll be there.
Come,
We
come.
that's how when I caught my 11 pounder, we were not fishing.
Now, you throwing artificial?
Oh
It was
yes.
on a shaky head.
Okay. Did y'all hear about, and I don't know the organization, there's an international organization that has come over here to America, and they're trying to get live bait banned in the United States. Kathy Saunders of Fishing Girl Nation, she put out a post, but they're actually trying to ban the use of live bait in the United States to fish. They're doing it under the pretense of taking across state lines, making it be like it's, what is that term when you bring an invasive kind of thing?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
But the reality is, if you look at their website and what they're all about, it's basically an international version of PETA and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
keep an eye out on that coming down the pipe here in the news, because there are several states already, Colorado, New York, and several others that are trying to put similar bans in place already. And this organization is trying to do it across the United States.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's a good
John.
heads up. We
Yeah.
appreciate that a lot. That's a
Oh
good
yeah.
heads up there.
Uh, John said that night fishing on St. Clair is awesome. The big bites at night. Well, and I mean, it's same here I
Yeah.
guess it's pretty much everywhere. I mean, I would say, but um, when I caught that 11 pounder that I was throwing a buzz bait, and I threw it for an hour and a half and nothing. And then I had that shaky head, and I was just throwing it on the outside of the grass ledges or the grass edge, and the grass kind of butted up to one of the docks, and I just pitched it right up. And as soon as it was falling, and all I felt was a thump, and then the line just went whoop, right up underneath that dock.
Yeah.
And when I hook set it, it was, I couldn't see. And I hook set, and I knew that I had a decent fish, but I was like, but is it grass? Because you know how like that grass would just mound up. You'll have 20 pounds of grass on it. And I was the only person I was fishing by myself. And so I could not lift the thing, and so I ended up having to boat flip that sucker. Talking about you want a good rod, them Joe Burns rods that we have are some massive rods.
You boat flipped
Well,
the 11 pounder?
I can
Boat
take you.
flip
I can
11
take you
pounder.
night fishing. I can take you night fishing. You're gonna need one rod and a plastic. That's it. A Texas rig. You don't need anything else.
Or a black
And
spinner
I
bait,
guarantee
1 ounce
you,
spinner bait.
Okay, that's what I was
well,
getting
no,
at.
if you're on the river, we'll go that y'all you take as a 1 ounce spinner bait with a wobble head, with a Colorado blade. We'll catch some smallies down there, black and blue. But
Yeah.
if we're on Chickamauga Lake, just bring yourself, and I'll furnish the rod and the bag of worms that we're throwing, and I guarantee you'll catch a fish.
All right,
You
I was
know
gonna.
what that means, Danny?
What's
You know what
that?
that means? He's gonna say, "Hey, Colin, I need you to make sure this is in the boat. So let's go."
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, and you brought it up about the spinner bait because here in Georgia at night, the big thing is a big Colorado 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce
Yeah.
Colorado blade dark spinner bait, and just ticking
You want
rods.
me to tell you another thing that I do with it? Spike It has a blade dip, and the green blade dip, you can you just dip it down in it, and you're ready to fish, and it will coat that blade whatever color. They've got like 5 or 6 colors, but I'll do the green at night, and I don't know what it is, but you will get more hits with it being a green blade at night.
Okay, all right. I'll put that
And
up there in the mental piggy bank right there.
so and then like they have a neutralizer as well, and so you can just spray that neutralizer on like a paper towel and just wipe the blade off, and it's back to the chrome or gold or whatever color blade that it is. So you can alternate colors on it if you wanted to. So
Now, do y'all have? Does it have a scent, or is it just color?
um, let's see. I think the blade dip is just color. They've got the Sonic. Have you seen their Sonic coat?
No.
This stuff. This here is what we use for our forward facing sonar, and it has this
Dude,
is a
you talk about a
crawfish
game changer. That's a game
and
changer.
a garlic. If you're having problems seeing your like a little jig on your forward facing sonar, put this stuff on there, and it will glow like a softball.
But it's garlic.
Garlic or crawfish.
Do you find that makes a difference? Because we have that argument all the time.
The garlic, I catch more fish on the garlic than I do the crawfish.
And so, what do you think garlic represents to a bass? Why does it
I
show
have no clue.
Because I'm not sold on scents on fast moving baits. Now, if you want to put something on your worm or jig or something,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it's even the smell. But I think when they bite it, it helps them to hold on to it. We have this debate all the time. But on fast moving baits, reaction style baits, I'm not so sure that scent plays as big a role to the fish. It might to us, but to the fish. But the garlic scent in and of itself, I ain't figured out why in the hell fish like garlic.
And I will agree. I don't know if it's even a taste. I think it's something different that they're kind of they'll hold on to it just because people say that it holds. I mean, because if you can get them to hold on to it for another second or two, that may determine if you're going to catch a fish or not.
Right.
And I think that that's really what it is. It's a different it's different to them.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with what you're saying, Danny, on that it's not really that it's garlic that's doing it. I think it's just that.
Steven, yeah, good pizza, dude, with plenty of garlic. I absolutely understand that. But like on Lanier, we're throwing Seville's, we're throwing the Magic Swimmers and all that, and we're burning them across the top of the water.
Yeah.
But I'll see guys put, their scent on it, like it's leaving a scent trail. And I'm like, dude, you got it on a 10-to-1 reel and you're burning it like hell. That fish is not going to follow that scent. It don't have that much time. So I
No.
always find it kind of curious how guys think about scents. And we have some great debates. And there's several viewers that say if you take a live shad and bite into it, it will taste garlicky. Now, I keep telling everybody if they bring one to me, I'll do it on air. I'll bite into it on air, but I still don't buy that. Everybody's got their thoughts. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. I mean, because you remember, like, what, back in late 90s and stuff, I mean, coffee was the big thing then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I get it if you're dead sticking a worm or you're dead sticking a jig and you put some crawdad scent on it. You're working it really slow, even a Ned rig. Okay, then I can give you a little bit. Okay, maybe. But not on a burn style bait. I just don't think that it.
I totally agree with you there. I totally agree because it would really defeat the purpose anyways. I mean, why would you put any kind of scent or anything like that on something that you're going to blow right by them at the mark of Jesus? I mean,
that's right.
They're not getting anything from it,
Right.
Like
now, I have seen
that.
more success at what you're saying, dead sticking or jigging, something that is a slower pace, a slower cadence, and using the garlic or something that it does seem to help. Now, I don't know whether if that's it or not. I mean, who knows? But we really don't know. But I would like to think it does. But anyways, I have had success with it to kind of go along with that.
Well, and you have confidence with it, right? So once it's in your head that you're confident, you're going to use it regardless of whether that's the reality or not, because you think you're going to be able to catch more fish.
Yeah.
So I always tell everybody there's two types of things in a tackle shop. Those that catch fish, which is about 10%, and the other 90 catches the anglers. Mm-hmm. And even if they use those other things and they catch fish on them, they're hooked. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's all about confidence.
And that's what, like what you said, 90% of the stuff that's in the bait shop Bass Pro is to catch your eye, not to catch the bass's eye. And I mean, because I believe that, I mean, it really kind of depends on like the water situation and stuff like that. I mean, I think the vibration and a little bit of rattle. I mean, because different times of the year, you want it to have you want it to have that louder rattle, to a quieter rattle, or even to no rattle. I mean, I've taken crankbaits that's had the rattles and drilled a little hole and put little, like the foam and stuff that you put around there's little spray foam.
Mm-hmm.
And I would spray in it to make it a silent crankbait. And but that's
again, okay, think about this though. Think about what you just did to that crankbait, right? What'd you do to it? Something different. Something different that they're not used to. So, it may still have the rattle in it. You sprayed that foam in it, you took the rattle out of it, but it's still operating the way that a crankbait would operate, but just in a different way. Because what happens if you throw that foam in it? It could give it a harder tail swing. It could give it a deeper nosedive. It's something. It throws something different to it. So who knows? But that's the thing. That's the crazy thing. And I've always been a firm believer. If you want to catch bass, do something different. Think outside the box. And I'm like that with hunting. I'm like that with anything. I mean, even our what we do on the side, business wise, I'm a big outside the box thinker. If it's something that can catch my eye, who else's eye is it going to catch? It's just presentation.
Yeah, I get that. There are times when you were 100% right. But if I were going up to a beginning angler walking into a Bass Pro Shop or something like that, and he's looking at plastic worms, I would say, buddy, you can get away with 3 or 4 colors year round.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get better, then you can, then if you want that color, monkey ass, flagship, whatever, you can buy it. But
Yeah.
really, all you need is a green pumpkin, a black, you know what I'm saying, to start off with.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
very overwhelming for a brand new guy.
And you can be all over the country, and those 2 colors right there is you can catch fish all year round.
Well, look at the
Yeah.
top water. Look at top water. You really can get a white or a bone or black, and you really could just go catch top water, any buzz bait, white buzz bait, black buzz bait. Worm, green pumpkin, black. Green pumpkin will catch fish anywhere in the world, in my opinion. And I'm not an expert, but to the new guys starting off, it is overwhelming when they go say Zoom. They want to buy some Zoom trick worms. Well, there's 822 different colors of Zoom trick worms, and they'll ask me, "What do you get?" Get a green pumpkin. Get a pumpkin seed. Get the basic colors first and start off.
Yeah.
And you're talking about like you modifying a crankbait, something like that. You've been fishing for a long time. Now you are getting to that point where you want to try something different because you might be tournament fishing, looking for that different thing. For somebody that's just starting out, man, don't modify that thing. Just get out and learn how to throw it.
Yeah.
And get confidence in it, and then go modify it, do the different things. Will Harkins, that's going to be on our show tonight, he modifies everything. He puts skirts on jerk baits. He does all of these little things. He's fishing for $100,000 everywhere he goes. He's trying to get that little edge. The weekend warrior, don't overthink it like that. Just go out there with your basics, get good, learn your rods, learn your equipment, then spray the foam in the crankbait, then do all the other colors, then put the scents on. We can make it as complicated as we want or as easy as we want.
Well, I tell you something I do a little different. I'm a big spinnerbait guy.
Yep.
Always have been. That's just outside of that. I mean, the plastic is my number one go to, but the spinnerbait is I love throwing spinnerbaits. But I can take a spinnerbait and fish it like a jig, and still get the same results from a jig as I would a spinnerbait, just because I'm doing it a little bit different. And it's all in how you do the presentation, really. But I got a lot of confidence, which is what you said a while ago, is a key factor in all these baits that you throw. We work with a guy that all he'll throw is a chatterbait. He loves throwing chatterbait, but he does well at it. Hell, I throw a chatterbait and I might catch something and I might not. That's just me though. But yeah, I mean, you can take whatever lure you got. Like I said, I can take that spinnerbait and I can fish it like a jig. I can dead stick it. I can do whatever I want, because for one, I've got 2 blades on there that I'm relying on, that's looking like some kind of little bait fish, throwing them little flashes off or whatever. Then you got the skirt, you got the plastic and everything else. So it's just a matter of having a lot of confidence in what you're throwing and how you want to throw it.
Now let me ask you though, the first time you did that with a spinnerbait, you probably didn't have the confidence in it. Somebody told you to try it. You probably tried it a few times. And you're like, I don't know, but you stuck with it.
And it just takes that one fish though.
Yeah,
you stuck with it, and then all of a sudden a light bulb moment, and you went, "Oh, there's something to this." A lot of guys don't ever get to that point. They give up. I tie jigs. I suck with a jig. I can tie a mean jig, but I don't have the confidence in a jig that I do with a shaky head. And I'll say, listen, I'm going out and I'm going to throw nothing but a jig today. I'm going to commit to it. And 15 minutes in, I'm like, well, hell no, I want to bite. And that thing's coming out. I got a shaky head and I'm topping it right in there. And I'm like, do. So for you guys that can stick with something, I admire that, because I don't have that fortitude to stick with it, because I want to end up catching some fish. So I probably would have never gotten past the throwing the spinnerbait for a jig a time or two. It would have never registered with me, because I've been like, shaky head get bit right here.
Right.
So,
John Wilson said, "Is it paint?" John, it is not paint. It actually looks like it's the dye that you would dip plastics into. It's a little thicker, but it comes in a bottle just like that. And if you was to open it up, I mean, that's what you'd kind of think that it is. And so it's
Is it
not
almost kind of like the stuff you can take a tool, like you got a pair of needle nose or something, you can dip it into that stuff and it come up and you got like new handles? Something similar to
no,
that?
it's not that thick. It is
Not
not
that
that
thick.
thick.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I've never used it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, it's almost like if you was to take like vegetable oil, it kind of looks like it's that around that thickness of what it looks like. Instead of like how dye is more watery,
Mhm.
it's more like a vegetable oil thickness. It's not vegetable oil, but I mean that's the thickness of what it is.
But
So
it adheres really good.
oh yeah, I mean you can dip it, and by the time you dip it and get ready to throw it, and you can throw it right in. I mean, there's no dry time or anything like that. I mean, and it will stay on there until you take that neutralizer and wipe it off.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. That's a good tip.
Yeah,
That's a good tip. What was
yeah,
it? Spike it, you said?
yeah. Spike it. It's called their blade dip.
Okay. All right.
So,
It's good stuff.
we've had you on for almost an hour and a half, brother, and I know you got another show coming up here in about 30 minutes.
Yep.
So, we've got one last question that we've asked everybody the 4 years that we've been going.
All right.
And Happy, you want to ask a question?
Absolutely, I'd be honored to. Well, Danny, first of all, I'd like to say it's been a pleasure. It's been a
Thank
pleasure talking to you, meeting with you, and I hope we do this again, whether it's
you.
on your show or our show. But it's definitely been a pleasure.
We'll do it.
I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, if there was one person that you could fish with, whether this person is with us today or has went on, who would it be and why?
Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Number one, because I believe in him. Number two, because I know we're going to catch fish. You know, now and I say that. I say that. Listen, no, seriously, I say that. I am serious. You know, of course, you know, because I am a believer. Now, you take the Lord out of there, it would be my dad.
Yeah.
My dad passed on. He's the one that got me fishing, and unfortunately, and I'll tell you why. Unfortunately, kind of those 20s and 30 years of my life, I was a little bit of a hellion, you know. And
Mhm.
my dad was a Marine. He was straight by the book and there, and we bumped heads a lot, and so we didn't get along for a great portion of my adult life. And we did make up, you know, before he passed on. But he was the one that put the Zebco 33 in my hand and said, "Hey, listen. Here's how you do with a minnow. This is how you throw a shiner and all that. This is a cricket. This is what you do." If I could fish with one guy again, it would be him. It would be my dad.
So
Awesome.
that is awesome. And there's no wrong answer on that. We've had a couple of people say that they wanted to fish with Jesus as well. And the first person that ever said it, um, as soon as he said it, and I said, I don't know if I want to fish with him. And he said, why is that? I said, because I would be the one that he'd say, hey, stupid, fish on that side. So,
Oh yeah, 100%. But you know, listen, you know, if it's a slow day,
yeah,
you look over and you're like, Lord, come on. Come on now. We know you got a little pull around here, dude. Just
that's
come
right.
on.
Yeah.
Uh, it would be Jesus. It would be my dad. Now, if I had to pick a celebrity though, it'd be Eddie Van Halen. Because we could talk guitars. You know, I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
big Van Halen fan. So Eddie, I'll teach you how to fish. You teach me how to play guitar while we're doing that and all that. So,
Yeah.
but again, guys, seriously, I love talking and thank you guys for inviting me. I had a great time. I love podcasts where it's kind of very laid back. You guys got a very laid back. We can just go wherever the conversation takes us. So I want to, wish you guys success. And as you guys keep doing it, keep growing. And I hope my guys that are watching, you guys make sure you follow these guys, like, subscribe, whatever channel you're watching them on. And anytime you guys want to get together, whether it be on a podcast, go fishing. Colin, you got my number now. Reach out. And John G, yeah, there is a thing. He said, if you're fishing with Jesus, what would you yell if you missed one? There is a well-known thing that when I'm fishing and I miss one, I say a lot of words I shouldn't say. But then I turn right around, I go, sorry, Lord. And if you're fishing a tournament with me, you're going to hear sorry, Lord, about 428 times in an 8-hour tournament because I'm always missing it. And I'll just beep, 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 and then I'll go, sorry, Lord, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it, guys. I've had a great time.
Yeah, we did too. And can you, real quick, can you tell us the platforms that you're going to be on here in about 30 minutes?
So on our show we only go on TikTok and YouTube. So both at Fish North Georgia. And then if you got nothing to do at 12 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I also do a lunch break podcast, and that's on our Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And that's just whatever I wake up that morning and I'm thinking that's crossing this crazy brain of mine. That's what we're going to talk about at lunch. It's kind of like water cooler talk. We might talk aliens. You probably saw some Bigfoot comments earlier.
Yeah,
You
I
never
seen
know.
some Bigfoot comments.
Yeah. Do you guys believe in Bigfoot?
I mean, I've seen people that had a Bigfoot. I mean, but
you guys ask who you would fish with. We always figure out if our guest believes in Bigfoot. I don't know. I got some crazy ass guys that watch me and they want to know. And it's all because that guy on YouTube put out that video where the female Bigfoot, he was camping in the woods and he was accosted by a female Bigfoot one night. And the fool went back the next night and was accosted again. And we can't figure out why he didn't leave the night before.
I mean,
I will say this. The Appalachian Mountains, it's a crazy place. So I don't know what's out there, but hey.
Well, her name is probably Norma. But other than that, I mean, I know exactly what you're saying. You don't want to walk in them woods at night in the Appalachian Mountains. I get it because Norma's out there. And she makes a lot of noise coming through the woods. But no, seriously, guys, I've enjoyed it. I've had a great time. I got the 5-hour energies finally kicking in, if you can't tell. So I'm going to go do about 2 more hours on my show. So you guys are welcome to join us over there at Fish North Georgia on YouTube.
Yeah, we definitely will. So guys, thank you again for staying with us. And next week we are going to be doing a recording. We've already recorded the episode. It is going to be one heck of an episode. I mean, we had to pick somebody that is. We knew we had Danny coming on the week before Christmas, so we had to pick somebody that may be a little bit higher ranking than what Danny is, just a little bit.
You picked somebody up off a street corner?
No, we got Bill Dance that came on and recorded an episode. We are actually doing a giveaway, guys. Cast King is sponsoring the episode, and they have sent me some stuff. I don't even know what all that they had sent. And so we're doing a giveaway. So make sure you tune in for that. And if you want to see Pappy and myself only ask Bill 4 questions in an hour and 20 minutes, this is what it's about, because Danny, you've gone to iCast and Classic and got to talk to him and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know that if you get him started on a subject, he is going to go.
And so the best thing, I know you guys got to go, but the best thing about Bill Dance at iCast, he's got his handlers. He's walking up. You want to talk to him. He will take the time. He's the only one that will do this. He will look at your name tag, and in that entire conversation, he will call you by your name as if you've known each other your entire lives.
Oh,
and you guys know how hard that is.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic guy. Good choice. Good guess. That's going to be a good one.
So we had to pick somebody, that, I mean, it's always stepping up, so we had you come on. So then, I mean, the next step was to get Bill coming on.
Well, you guys really listen. That is a mile above me. You outdid yourself. Like I said, you could have got Norma from the Appalachian Mountain Woods up there, and that would have been a step up for me. But kudos to you. You guys need to watch that. All my guys, you guys need to watch that next week.
Yeah. So it's going to be, John, it's going to be next Tuesday, the December 23rd. We're going to have it out. We're going to try to get it. I know it's going to post on YouTube at 6 p.m. And it's going to kind of really depend on how things load up for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that. But other than that, we're shooting for 6 p.m. If you're watching it on YouTube, it looks like, and so it will be 6 p.m. next Tuesday.
That's awesome.
So, but Danny, thank you, brother, and I hope that you and your family have a blessed and Merry Christmas, and y'all be safe out there.
You guys as well, and I'm looking forward already to that summertime night fishing trip.
Yes,
Happy talking about.
Yeah.
I've
Hey,
already
and
got you slotted in on my calendar. Done got
yeah.
it. So
Hey, but if you also want to come and do some spawning fish, if you don't mind catching
yeah.
some big fat girls off a bed, so we'll.
You said fat girls, you had my interest right there. Like, listen, I think any man can love a skinny girl. It takes a real man to love fat girls, and I will be there 100%.
Oh, I love it. I
Well,
love it.
there's no better way to end a show than that. So we're going to get off
Yeah.
here. Hope y'all have a blessed one. See you next week, guys.
See you guys.
I have a good one.
Danny, thank you, brother.